Well, howdy. Yes, it's a different view. Every other Wednesday, we do the Real Monica Adams show right here in our studios because we have a brand new sponsor on, and that is Jennifer Warmann-Bloss with Elemental Esthetics. I had a chance to go in just a couple of weeks ago. I'll start telling my story about how incredible my skin looked after we did our facial. She'll tell us which facial she did on me and how she really can take care of your skin. But we're not just talking about the outside of the body today. We'll also talk about a weight loss journey, what happens on the inside, gut health, that journey she's gone through, the struggles she's gone through. We'll talk about insulin resistance, as well as the weight loss drugs that are on the market. What do they use at Elemental Esthetics? Do they do medical and non-medical consultations for weight loss? And then IPL, do you know what it is? Have you ever had it done? Can you weigh in on it with me? Because it's something that I have put on the back burner for a while, but we are now putting it on my calendar to have it done. Other things like this to make you glow a little bit more. Obviously, I always believe the glow comes from right here, your happiness on the inside, on the outside, and then people like Jennifer Warmann-Bloss take it to a whole new level. So she will be our guest after we do news you can use, your forecast, your sports, some entertainment news. So she'll be with us in about 10 minutes. Let's start off, by the way, with our forecast. Some lower humidity. It actually feels incredible as you step out the door this morning. 90 though for the high today. As I mentioned yesterday, summer definitely hanging on. Cards game on tap again for the next several days, as you see all the way through Sunday, this homestand. Continuing against the Pirates, by the way. We'll tell you whether they won the game last night in just a sec. 67 for the low tonight. 92, so we're climbing up on Thursday. And then on Friday, 93. You can see slight chances of rain on Friday through Monday from a 20 to 30% chance. And then the temperatures in the upper 80s as we go through Monday. Tuesday through Friday of next week will be in the upper 70s, starting to feel a little more fall-like. And as you can see, Sunday is the official start of fall, the autumnal equinox. We get into the upper 50s, so starting to really feel like fall as we go into Thursday night and into Friday. But again, very slight chances of rain, so you'll probably have to get the hose out and start watering the trees, the flowers, etc., because they will definitely need that. All right, it is 7:02. Welcome into the show. I'll be looking at your comments and any questions throughout the news we're talking about, as well as our topics a little bit later on. We start off this morning affecting school districts. Now, yesterday, there was a reported bomb threat that one of our viewers told us about. I didn't want to go into that until we looked deeply into it. It was unsubstantiated, which is good news. But this is also good news of what was thwarted in the Rittner School District. This could have been a very dangerous, very scary situation. An armed suspect was arrested outside of Husky Academy parking lot, which is in the Rittner School District. The suspect was armed with a fully loaded Glock with an extended magazine and taken into custody. The St. Anne Police Chief, Aaron Jimenez, said, "I know without a shadow of a doubt that we actually saved many lives today." His officers jumped into action. They received that credible threat that a former student was planning to shoot up two Rittner schools, Rittner High School and Husky Academy in Overland. Officials from the Rittner School District say these threats are taking a toll on their students because it comes just a week after another social media threat led to classes going virtual at Rittner High School just last Thursday, along with a series of unsubstantiated threats at other districts, as I mentioned, across the region this month. And that included Ladue Horton White Watkins High School yesterday with that unsubstantiated bomb threat. And a lot of times we don't like to talk about it in the news because you get copycat situations where, again, we don't want that happening again and again. But the Rittner issue was definitely the top story all across the news districts, or the news stations, all from the TV and radio last night and into this morning. FBI also investigating suspicious packages that were delivered to election officials, and that included right here in Missouri, as well as 14 other states. The FBI and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service said they were investigating the origin of the packages that have been sent to or received by election officials, but there were no immediate reports of injuries or that any of the packages contain hazardous material. This latest scare, by the way, comes as early voting has begun in several states ahead of the high-stakes elections, not only for president, but also Senate, Congress and key state house offices, causing disruption in an already tense voting season. Well, continuing to do a follow-up to a story that we told you about that ties Andy Frisella, First Form, and local police departments. It's after comments that were made on his personal podcast going off on female police officers with a lot of expletives, pretty much saying that he doesn't think that female police officers should be in force, saying that if they didn't have a badge, that he could punch them in the effing face and take their effing life. Well, that has had legs, as we've been saying for a while. More and more police departments that are distancing themselves besides St. Louis County Police and St. Louis City Police. Now we're talking backstoppers saying they will not take donations from First Form for their very popular guns and hoses. Also, the Webster Groves Police Department, the latest agency to distance themselves, as well as Club Fitness, taking down all of the supplementation that has to do with First Form. Now, there was a comment that came out from the partner in First Form, which is Sal Frisella, and that is Sal. He said, "I am confident these remarks do not reflect his 20 years of positive contributions." He made many comments saying, "As his brother, I am deeply saddened by this situation. I also know Andrew's long-standing track record." He also was saying, again, it was on his personal podcast, which is not affiliated with First Form. He says, as the CEO, I assure you that we are taking immediate and significant steps to repair this relationship, both locally and nationally. And I take a pause here just to tell you to remember, in life, no matter what comes out of your mouth or no matter what picture is out there or what you write in an email, it lasts. This one's not going to end, unfortunately, anytime soon. Well, Instagram and Meta, the parent company, looking to make some changes to social media and their platform, making it safer for your youth by implementing teen accounts. Meta's looking to automatically place teens into private accounts if they're under 18 years old over the next couple of months. And teens under the age of 16 are going to need a parent's permission to change any of the settings. Only those friends that they have or those they follow will be able to be seen, and they'll have to prove their age because many people said, well, they could get around that, couldn't they? Also, some notifications that would be muted between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. All of this, again, to make this safer for your teenagers. Okay, we're going to transition into some entertainment news. Are you a fan of REO Speedwagon? Zach and I can't stop humming their songs, I Can't Fight This Feeling. Well, get used to seeing them over the next few months, but then no longer. They're going to stop touring because of irreconcilable differences. REO Speedwagon will stop touring. In a statement from Monday, the band announced they will stop that January 1st. The band cited the irreconcilable differences between the singer, Kevin Cronin, and the bassist, Bruce Hall. According to Billboard, Hall's been off the road already, recovering from back surgery, while the band continued to tour with Train this summer. According to REO Speedwagon, a statement said if it were up to just him, he'd be back on tour, but it's not up to just him. The consensus opinion was that he had not recovered sufficiently to be able to perform at the level the fans have come to expect. But Cronin also battled health problems. So in a post of his own, Cronin said he recently had emergency surgery for an undisclosed reason that was a complete success. Hall actually took to Facebook to make his own statement to fans and said, "Never ever did I think it would end like this, and I'm heartbroken. Please know that Neil and I did everything in our power to try and keep the wagon rolling." Well, I'm going to be rolling on to Chesterfield tonight. How many of you are going to see Teddy Swims at the Factory? First of all, I've never been to the Factory. Can't wait to see that venue. I cannot wait to see that man who I've been following for the last 4 years when I first discovered him on Instagram. And he also was found, by the way, by doing a song of Journey's. And it just blew social media away. He started gaining fans. Millions now know this man. You probably hear him on the radio singing Lose Control, maybe The Door. There's so many incredible songs that you can find if you follow Teddy Swims. I'll be posting videos and pictures of us enjoying it tonight. Jim's going with me. We saw him in Birmingham a few years ago. Fell in love with him. Very Motown, raspy sound. And we're taking Mama Jackie along with us, so it should be a lot of fun. In other entertainment news, this is cool. Batman to be the first superhero honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The comic book character will receive the 2,790th 20th star on the Walk of Fame in the category of motion pictures. The Walk of Fame also said Batman would be awarded with the Guinness World Records title for the first superhero with a star. And it gives me an opportunity to tell you that Carl Newman, who is the movement double for Michael Keaton when he was Batman, will be our guest in studio with the Batman costume. How cool is that? On October 18th. All right, we're going to wrap up with sports. How about those Cards winning last night against the Pirates? The final score was 3-1. Same two teams tonight, again, as the Cards wrap up the season at 6:45. They wrap it up in the next several games at home. And how about the Blues? Are you a big fan? They start the preseason in just 3 days against the Stars, Saturday at 6 p.m. Ready for some hockey? If you are, you might want to go on Friday to the second annual Blues and Brews event, and that will be live music, Blues alumni. Tickets are only $20. That's going to be affiliated with Anheuser-Busch. And look at that, featuring Chris Lane, put on by ESPN, WIL, and Bud Light. There you go, all up to date. That's how we do it. If you're new to the show, we give you what I think is news you can use, sports, entertainment news. Feel free to drop anything else into the comments. I want to thank our moderator, Hannah Ledford, who is at home, and we have Ashlyn Cross and Zach Kimball behind the scenes working feverishly to get everything ready for you for our segment. Coming up, Jennifer Warmann-Bloss with Elemental Esthetics. We're going to talk about IPL, laser treatments, weight loss journey, insulin resistance, and medical and non-medical consultation for your own weight loss journey. We'll have that coming up next in the Blue Chair.
I'm excited to announce my all-new mattress topper. In the times we're in, I wanted to bring you the best affordable mattress topper ever. So I took my two best technologies and combined them to make the ultimate mattress topper. And now you can get it for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. It all starts with my famous MyPillow foam that provides you that overall full body support. Second is the individual comfort supports that give you an amazing custom sleep experience. It's like it's made specifically for you. The queen size alone has over 14,000 comfort supports. This is the perfect mattress topper to improve any bed. New bed, old bed, your guest beds. Get them for every bedroom in your house. Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the all-new My Mattress Topper for as low as $69.98. Queen size only $99.98. Don't delay, order today.
Need women to lift women up. Let's do that.
Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives.
I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with her viewers and her listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey! You're close!
Monica! Whoa!
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind. All right, let's go. Just like we said. Welcome back, The Real Monica Adams Show. I'm your host, Monica Adams. Thrilled to have you along with us. Good morning to all of you that are dropping in your comments. And Rose, you're funny. She said, you don't need any lovin'. Yes, I do. We all need lovin' and fixin'. You're talking about REO. Okay, REO not touring anymore. What the heck? We'll talk a little bit about that. We are talking today about many things with Elemental Esthetics. Let me welcome in, if you didn't see her a couple of weeks ago, Jennifer Warmann-Bloss, who is the owner of Elemental Esthetics. Thanks for coming in again.
I'm happy to be here.
Are you an REO Speedwagon fan? No? Not at all?
I don't, I mean, I know.
Do you remember them?
Oh, yeah. No, I do. I don't know. I was into like Depeche Mode and all of that during that time frame. And so I don't know some of those bands as well.
REO, Zach and he's younger, but he said that would have been a great band to go see. But yeah, so if you get a chance over the next few months, but otherwise, that's it. We talked about all these bands that are breaking up, and it's like, remembering back when we were growing up, we're like, no, but they are a lot older.
There was a huge fight
Yes.
between the Jane's Addiction.
We talked about that yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
They were supposed to be at the Evolution Festival here in our area.
That's right.
And they are not now. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
You missed that. That was some news that we thought you could use from yesterday. Yeah, all these things are. But do you know who Teddy Swims is?
No.
Okay,
I'll
so
have to look that
you
up.
have to. You've probably heard maybe his songs "Lose Control" is the one that most people know. But yeah, he'll be at the factory tonight. I can't wait to see this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
All right, so let's start with this. You and I did a facial on me just about a week and a half or so ago. I wanted to start with that because I went home. I actually need to put this on social media and did a little video with my mom. And I was like, "Mom, do you recognize me?" She's like, "No, you look 10 years younger." And I went like this. She goes, 15. I'm like, "Keep coming." So what facial did you do on me?
So I did what's called the Oxygeneo facial. So it basically uses CO2 and it mixes on the skin, and it's like microdermabrasion a little bit. And what it does is it makes you make oxygen. So what's interesting about oxygen is there are a lot of estheticians that spray oxygen on you.
Yes,
that
that's what's been done in the past.
Is not very good for aging.
What?
It can actually age you a little bit more.
Why?
There's just something about that spraying of it on the surface of the skin. Two things: it doesn't really penetrate, and the second thing is it doesn't really reverse aging that much. Is
it just like an instantaneous
it might
thing?
give you a pretty glow.
It did.
Yeah.
But it didn't last like I was told it was going to. But
Right.
yours has.
So-
I'm still glowing.
It's so funny when I watched you on Friday. I was like, "Oh, your skin looks so good." I was like totally like, and I don't think you had a ton of makeup on, and you looked amazing.
Thank you. Well, that's thanks to you, though, right?
So the Oxygeneo that we do makes your skin make the oxygen. So when you're pushing the oxygen outward, now you're popping out fine lines and wrinkles and
Interesting.
all of that. So your body's doing the action. That is actually a lot of the ways that we do things is we're tricking your body into doing the things.
You trickster.
That's right.
If you're just tuning in, Elemental Esthetics, and we'll again show you more about this beautiful place that Jennifer Warmann-Bloss opened up. Tell them again, how long has it been there?
Oh, so well, I've been Elemental Esthetics since 2011.
In that location?
No, but in this
Yes.
location, just 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Okay.
Yes.
So again, they're located off of North New Ballas. That's just an absolutely beautiful place. When you first walk in, they're in Suite 206 at 425 North New Ballas Road in Creve Coeur. So that was just one of many facials. And I've had a lot of people say, "I can't wait to get in to have something done." One of the questions for you, Jennifer, was, how do I know what to have? And what I told them was, just like you did with me, let me get in and see you, all makeup off, obviously. Or, obviously, it's not just women, but men as well. And you want to feel, you want to see what you're working with. And then you will do the facial and then also do kind of consultation and recommendations.
So we usually recommend a customized facial, which is really just a time holder. Okay, so when you're booking and you don't know what to book, even if you think you might want a laser, if you book a customized facial, you're going to have an hour with somebody and they can help make a plan for you and, also have time to treat you, for the most part. So that's kind of the best way to get your foot in the door.
And we did dermaplaning, which I told you I love dermaplaning because that's another thing of making your makeup just lay perfectly. Right?
Absolutely.
Getting that dead skin off.
And that's inexpensive and it really makes you look nice. We usually do it with a little light peel, which you don't peel from, but you just have that radiant glow afterwards. So another good way to kind of get your foot in the door.
What you did with me, is that somewhat typical of what you would do to start people? Or no, it just depends on their skin.
I would definitely say that I am after 20 plus years of doing this, I swear sometimes people lay down and I just know what they need. And so some of it's just instinct, I guess, or just time.
Sure.
And how many
Having
things.
done it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and nothing's cookie cutter, which is what I really love. So now you understand if you're going to do online scheduling, which they can do, just do a kind of a holder, and then she'll take it from there. And then after we wrap that up, she said, well, why don't you try IPL, which again, I told you, I have a friend who wanted me to do it in the past. I ended up canceling my appointment, didn't do it. Now, she's got some video. This was just yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, elementalesthetics, by the way.com, you can go to do your own booking or call that number. Okay, this is yesterday. So, tell us what you're doing here.
So IPL works, it uses a specific wavelength of light to help with broken capillaries and age spots.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know, for example, those little broken capillaries around the nose, they don't have to be there. Or there's little, they call them cherry spots, little red dots on the face, sometimes on the torso.
So you can do IPL on torso?
Oh, we've done legs and arms, and and now that this season of sun is dissipating and your tan starts to fade, you're going to be like, oh, there's this
see these things.
I need to get off. And so this is a really good time. Plus, we do have IPL on sale right now, so it's like a really good time to get in. But essentially what we're doing is just using the wavelength of light to attack and break up either the pigmentation, or it actually is cauterizing the little capillaries that are broken.
What does IPL stand for?
Intense pulse light.
Okay, there. That word makes people scared. Intense pulse light. Okay, it says it's a treatment where broadband light is used to treat several skin concerns, dark spots, rosacea, skin texture, and a lot more. What have you all used IPL for in the more category?
Well, I mean, a lot. Rosacea is a big one.
It's a big one?
We do a lot for rosacea with IPL. Again, age spots is the most common use.
Okay.
But one of the things I want to say about IPL is that not all IPL is created equal.
You said that when I was there, and I wanted you to stress that because you just mentioned you've been in this industry for 2 decades, and you pride yourself on having done IPLs the longest and the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's some of that. So the thing about IPL is your technician is the secret to success.
I would think so.
And you can have a really great technician that's been doing it a couple years. They don't have to be 20 years in. And we have lots of good IPL technicians. In our office, for someone to do an IPL on a client, they have to go through a $2,000 course. They have to do 20 treatments with me. And so the process is laborious, and that means it takes a while and not everybody is doing it. I say that because before that, when I was in other offices, it would literally be the previous technician showing me how to turn the machine on for 5 minutes, and here you go, now go laser some faces. And in my opinion, IPL is one of the more dangerous lasers in our industry. It is the one that has the greatest either risk of side effect or having it not work at all, and it's expensive. So you want to be in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing.
Sure.
And just because you're going to a high-end plastic surgeon or doctor's office, it does not mean they have gone through that process. And because that's where I came from before. So I've had a lot of time. I've had like 5 IPL trainings. I know a lot of advanced settings. Like there's things I can do that work better when somebody's not getting a good effect from somewhere else, and that it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Again, we're talking about IPL with Jennifer Warmann-Bloss. Elemental Esthetics is what she owns in Creve Coeur. You just mentioned, and if people hear that, first of all they hear intense pulse light, then they hear there could be side effects or dangers if you're doing it with someone who really doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
What could happen?
The most common thing is you can get a minor little burn. Okay. This happens more with the body treatments like chest, arms, legs.
Do they do it on the back also?
Back. It can happen on the face, a lot less rare on the face. But the biggest thing is that can lead to a like white mark where they hit you with the laser, sometimes forever.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, not to scare you.
Don't scare me, because I already heard about the rubber band feel. Which, by the way, if we watch the video again, you made me laugh because you said, Monica, look, pay attention. She's okay. And I said, I wasn't watching you or the light. I was watching her face. And if she didn't even flinch.
No.
So, but let's address this before we take our first break. You mentioned that other people will have you do a numbing cream. You do not believe in that. And why is that?
It's mostly like, it's not that I don't believe in it. It's that one day I was looking at IPL and laser hair removal both. And I was like, from a biological standpoint, I felt like where we were hitting the numbing cream was not getting there.
Okay.
And so therefore I wasn't quite sure if it was having a benefit. So I actually took a whole day of clients and I numbed half of them, both hair removal and IPL, and no one could tell the difference.
So you did like the placebo effect.
Yeah. So I was like, if they're not seeing a difference, then maybe we don't need to spend the time and energy to numb them prior to the treatment. Now, she had been numbed because she did a second laser afterwards.
Oh, so you can do like layering lasers?
We layer lasers all the time.
What?
And you can get amazing results from a layered laser.
You're doing that in the same day?
Yes.
Interesting. Is there more downtime with that?
So we did the IPL and then we did the cool peel after.
Oh, that's the one that one of our viewers said she liked.
Yes. So it helped. That one helps with. So now you're hitting all the layers of the tissue for pigmentation and tightening. And she'll just come out. She'll have one day of downtime. She'll be pink. You know, she's probably pink today. But her brown spots will be like significantly better or gone. And she'll just be tighter. Oh, yeah, that's just IPL too. So you get that tightening effect, that brightening effect from it. The first picture is before, the second picture is after, because sometimes it darkens a little.
I was just going to ask that. I've heard that it will bring whatever is maybe the damage to the top layer.
Yes.
And so how long would it stay darker?
So you can actually even see in the middle, like not where her big spot is, but you see how there's little dots that are popping out in that second picture?
Yes.
So that's stuff that was going to come out, and we're just pulling it out ahead of time. And then you see that last picture is showing, you know, that's probably
It's faded.
3 weeks after.
3 weeks after. Did I also hear that when it's done that some of it would like come to the surface? There could be a little bit of a flaking and then it falls off?
I always say it looks a little bit like coffee grounds. It's like,
great.
Or someone's like, "Oh, you have mascara on your face." That's what a lot of it's that
And then it's
kind
just,
of look.
it's pulling the damage to the top layer of the skin and then falling off.
It's literally pushing that bad hyperactive melanin to the surface and letting it break up and fall away.
Interesting.
And generally, though, what I like about IPL is you can wear makeup immediately after. Most of that effect no one will notice but you. And you can mostly hide it with makeup. So this is a good one. If you don't have a life that allows for much downtime, you can really work with it.
Actually, one of the reasons, just to full transparency, that I always put it off was I either had an MC event or an auctioneering event or a live thing here and there, and I'm like, but it is, from what I was told, a lot of it is, okay, maybe this just looks like darker freckles. You can put makeup over the top of it, Monica.
Most people don't even notice. Like
Okay. But you do, because
you'll notice,
yes.
but other people won't notice.
So don't just don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, IPL is what we're talking about. Do you have any questions for Jennifer? Drop them in our comments. We're also going to talk about her own personal weight loss journey, insulin resistance. Have any of you gone through this? We'll talk about the fact that they do consultations, non-medical and medical, for weight loss. All of that coming up with Jennifer when we return. And this is what we're talking about. This is where you would walk into Elemental Esthetics, 425. Again, New Ballas is where she's located. There's the walk into her beautiful space. I highly encourage you to look at their website, find out what you have been intrigued by, but let them take over. She really prides herself on having the best of the best. And we're going to talk about how she has the best lasers in the industry, staying on top of her game. Multiple rooms. And that's the thing that I was really impressed with. It's not just a few. There's so many things that you can do. And I know Marilyn had written in the past saying that she wanted to grab a group of girls. Could they do several things together? Yes. But they will have an opportunity to come in, lay down. She'll be able to see, what do you need? What do your girlfriend need in another room? They mentioned something about doing the IV hydration therapy. That's where there are multiple chairs together that you can do. There it is right there. ElementalEsthetics.com. Go there. You can do your own online scheduling or give them a call. 314-279-6069. And Jennifer, before we go into the weight loss aspect, tell me about the laser aspect of you having the best of the best in the industry. Always wanting to stay on top of the game, right?
Yeah, so like I'm just kind of a nerd and I love really good technology. I say that with like
with love
joy.
For yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like am kind of like a digger and I need to know the latest thing. And so we're constantly like, you know, we're talking to the reps, we're investigating what's happening out there, we're watching what other people are doing. And we spend, I mean, it can take me a year to buy a laser because I will look at it. I want to see all its competitors. I want to test drive them all. We want to play with them. We want to see what our results are. We've definitely rejected many lasers in the past and gone, this is not as good. This isn't quality. And the downside for me is that's expensive. And I have bought, you know, some of the machines have been very expensive, the price of a house, you know. Wow. However, the upside is the quality of the result is really, really good. The technician is highly educated. I think that's huge. Yes. That's like a big piece of what we do internally. So I'm going to look at some questions before we get into the second part of today's show, which is insulin resistance, the weight loss journey, struggles that Jennifer went through, and your daughter, right? Yeah. And maybe you hear your own self in this story. Dot wanted to know, can you have an IPL on the same day as a facial and dermaplaning? You can. You can. You would do your facial with dermaplaning first, and then you would follow it with an IPL. And actually, fun fact, sometimes IPL can kind of if you have a little hair, it will kind of be a little smoky. And if you've done dermaplaning first, then you won't have that effect. Okay, so facial. It'll hurt a little bit less. So I could have, but I think we weren't going to do it. I could have done the facial and then went into the IPL after that? Yeah, I mean, I probably would have done like dermaplaning with a light peel, IPL, and maybe a really great mask at the end. Look at her. See how she just got ooh, this is fun. How long would something like that take? About an hour. For all of it? Mm-hmm. Oh. The IPL is fast. Okay. I always say, if I'm going to hurt you, I'm going to hurt you fast. Don't hurt me. So if and again, I know your team has been great. We've been playing phone tag trying to get this scheduled. So don't think I'm not doing, because they probably said, Monica's not scheduled yet. I am going to get scheduled. I mentioned to you that I'm going to Cabo, and you said, oh, well, hold on. Let's back it off a little bit. Why is that? Because I'm going to be out in the sun and you need some time away from that? Right. With IPL, you definitely need a break from the sun. We can do it in the summer if somebody is just diligently sunscreen on their face all the time. But when you're going to somewhere like Cabo, even with great sunscreen, a little bit of sun can creep in. Okay. It's just part of life. And so we want you to be as pale as possible for the best result. Okay, so that's why we had mentioned after coming back, it's still maybe a few weeks out. Correct. So we're going to look at like end October, November. I definitely am getting it, I promise you. And then I will tell you my experience. Rose said, gift certificates? ? Christmas is coming up. I would love this for a gift. Are my friends listening? Yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. 100%. For all amounts, whatever you possibly. Whatever they want. Right. Anne said, good morning. I'm hooked on Elemental Aesthetics. I love my light peel and dermaplaning with Sarah. I have another appointment in just a couple of weeks. So yes, she came in and she loved. So that's the thing. I went in with Jennifer, but you have how many others that do what you do? Well, there's 19 people. Wow. I mean, that's including the front desks. We have a lot of great technicians. And so I'd love for you guys to see me, but oh my goodness, there's such great girls, and everybody kind of has their specialty. And, you know, so again, like we were just talking about IPL, not everybody does IPL, and that's because we want them to be the best at it before they're on the schedule. Do you remember when you were in a couple weeks ago and we talked about Richard? Yes. Okay, so Richard said Becky was on vacation, that's his wife, last week, so I left a message for an appointment. When your staff called me back a few hours later, Becky was in the car. I wanted to surprise her, and then she says, honey, I get facials all the time. I just got one last week. I didn't have the heart to tell her I didn't notice the difference.
Okay, but you've got to send her so that she can feel the difference, because she just mentioned there's a huge change when you have the right technician,
Right.
working on you. Richard, but we also mentioned that you needed to get in with her because I want you both to experience it. Okay, again, if you have questions for Jennifer, let us know. I'm looking at past comments that had to do with our news you can use. So again, we are transitioning now from that. If you have any other questions about the facial side, the lasers, etc., continue to drop them in. Oh wait, Monica, I felt like I was in a 10-foot fishing boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I was way out of my league. Okay, with regards to weight loss and insulin resistance, let's start with that. Your struggles started how long ago?
Oh, let's see. So I had insulin resistance before it was cool. Unfortunately, I believe that actually after I started to really produce hormones in my teenage years and into my college years, I fought my weight every day for most of my life.
And we were going to show, and this is interesting because this is a lot of people, we were going to show like a before and after. And you said, I never took pictures when I, quote unquote, felt fat.
I just couldn't. I hated how I looked. So I'm only 5'5", and I at one point was around 230 pounds, which on my frame, I was very, very big. And it was like depressing, sure. And it's hard. And at that time, no one understood insulin resistance. So nowadays they're starting to say that, I mean, upwards of 60 or more % of the population have insulin resistance. Ironically, it is not something that a lot of doctors test for. So with me, what would happen is my numbers would all look good. My A1C is gorgeous. And so there was no red flag for insulin resistance or what they call prediabetes or PCOS. There's a million names for it. And like my other hormone levels were good. So there was nothing to tell someone something was wrong. And then I finally met a doctor one day, and she did pull my insulin number. So normal insulin is under 19. Insulin where you feel good is under 10. And mine was like 67.
Are you serious?
It was terrible.
Oh, my goodness.
And no one knew.
And what age were you when this was done for you?
This was probably 15 years ago,
okay.
A little bit, and very ahead of the curve because no one was looking at that then.
Well, so when you have that done, and then she says you are insulin resistant, did you know what that meant?
No,
right?
No, and so what that means is when I eat a carbohydrate, my body's going, oh, let's make all this insulin. Let's just make it so we can neutralize this sugar or that's in my body. And what happens over time is if your body is continuing to just produce, if your pancreas is producing all this insulin, eventually it shuts down and you become diabetic. Mm-hmm. And so what had needed to happen is there needed to be an intervention. And I did realize early on that one of the ways I could control my weight was how I ate. So I did a lot of intermittent fasting when I was younger, but not the 16-8 that people do or anything. I did what was called 5-2, which was 5 days of eating what you want, 2 days of eating 500 calories or less, and not in a row. And that helped me, but it never really fixed me until they diagnosed me. The first thing they tried was metformin, which is the most common. It kind of worked. It wasn't great. And
what did it do for you, and how did it make you feel?
I didn't feel much different, but I didn't have as much of a daily fight with my diet, and so that was helpful. So I've always been all of that made me a little food crazy, where I was like afraid to eat things and like exercising like crazy to try to maintain my weight and still in the eternal battle with my weight.
And I want to pause there for a second as we're saying this, because when I tell you that you hear yourself in the story, I can guarantee you several of you are sitting at home thinking, that's me. I have done everything that Jennifer's saying. I have eaten healthy. I've hired trainers. I've worked out like crazy, yet I still feel depression, as you just mentioned. Your spirit has to be dampened, shame. not wanting to go out in public. People are seeing, well, you're working out so much, probably questioning, well, how come it's not working for you? Which, again, I wish you would all stop the chatter, because you don't know what someone's going through in their life.
Absolutely.
Right? But I
Yes.
also wish, as you just mentioned, that more physicians, nurses, nurse practitioners would do that test. I had it done, and I actually was, and it was the first time, that's the only reason why I know a lot about insulin resistance, is that female doctor who was very big into women's health said, oh, Monica, you might be a little insulin resistant. I'm like, what the heck is that? And I'm thinking, me? For how healthy I am, I'm a personal trainer or whatever. But you don't know what's going on in your own body. You can't work against that. So until you really understand what's going on, yes, you should have that done and ask for it. Is it covered by insurance if the doctor's not asking for it and a patient's asking? I guess they could change how they're doing that.
I mean, generally, it's covered by labs as long as your
should
doctor
be,
will
yeah.
ask for it.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you a little story about my daughter. So she was having some symptoms. It was around 16 of some insulin resistance things. And I noticed that. We went in for her regular check to her pediatrician, and they were like, like we can't figure out what's going on. We did pull some labs. They're like, her A1C is fine. And that's the common thread of like, oh, everything looks good. And then I said, well, can we pull her insulin? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. We can do that as a lab. And so then they leave the room and they come back to the room and say, well, we're not even sure what lab that is.
What?
Yeah. So then I reach out to my doctor and I'm like, what lab do they need to pull to get my daughter's insulin number? And she's like, there's only one. It's called insulin. And so the fact that her pediatrician didn't even understand, and we went ahead and ran the lab where I was like 67, which was terrible. She was like in the 80s. She was in the 80s.
At what
and
age?
She was 16,
Oh,
and
my
she was
goodness.
overweight and tired and sick.
See, and you think about them being ridiculed and bullied in school because of all this. I'm so tired of people looking at kids, grade school, in high school, in college, and they are made fun of because they're heavier. You don't know what their story is. You don't know what they're going through. People look at
Absolutely.
them and say they're lazy.
Right.
And they stereotype.
She was playing club volleyball. Like, this is a girl that was extremely active, and yet having this internal battle with her body. And if I hadn't asked that question, we might not have known.
Right. How old is she now?
She's 20, and her insulin's under control, but she still fights her weight, pretty significantly. It's a daily battle for
You
her.
mentioned she started having symptoms. What were her symptoms?
Fatigue, weight gain, and weight gain with a good diet. So, like, I definitely think that is one of the symptoms. And then now here's where I talk about something that maybe, like, is maybe controversial, maybe not controversial, but both she and I did get on semaglutide, Ozempic.
I do want to talk about it. I want to take a break because that's where I want to transition to. But it shouldn't be controversial. Now, I heard a story yesterday with Bernie Sanders. He's trying to make the Ozempic, semaglutide, Wegovy, all those much more inexpensive because for people who are diabetic, insulin resistant, need these things. They are super, super expensive.
They are.
Then you have people that are going and trying to find things online that is not even the drug at all,
Yeah,
or a very
seen that.
watered down version of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go into that. We'll have more with Jennifer Warmann-Bloss. If you're just tuning again, she's from Elemental Esthetics, talking about many services that they do, helping, by the way, with weight loss, non-medical and medical. We're going to go into that aspect when we return.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
You know, I've been talking about the temperature over the next several days in the 90s. It doesn't feel like fall's right around the corner, but it is. However, those of you that have kept your pools open, I think everybody's going to be knocking on your door, texting you, calling you, saying, can we come over? It is really, really hot, 90, 91, 92 over the next few days. Those pools, hopefully, that are in those backyards were built by Just Pools. If not, and you're thinking of getting one, you can give them a call and maybe get on the schedule for next year so you can make that backyard oasis your own. That's theirs. They're on the West Outer Road, by the way, in Arnold. So you pull up and you see that beautiful backyard oasis. If you want to not only have pools, maybe have a spa adjacent to it, do those features, steps, pools, slides, those rock features, so many things that people want to add on, by the way, to their current pool. They can do that as well, and they're making room for all the spas. Just Pools, pool and spa specialist with 10% off of winterizing kits right now, as well as 50% off all those fun toys. Give them a call, 636-464-7110. Again, let them know that we sent you in. And we're talking about some big upcoming live shows. Can you believe 400 shows right around the corner? Friday, October 4th. The really important thing about this is we're raising money for our true heroes, our first responders. We're going to be giving proceeds to the Responder Rescue Organization, which is helping the police, the fire, when they are not only killed in the line of duty, but when they're injured and can never return to their passion. I can't wait for you to be there with us. You've got to buy tickets, though, in advance. $40, and you get an incredible steak dinner, potato, salad from that wonderful lady on the left. Larry and Tiffany Winkler are the owners of Circle 6, Watering Hole, and Market. They've got the best of the best when it comes to meat. The meat market with the Watering Hole. That's where we're going to be. I know about 25 or so of you have bought your tickets already. Make sure you start telling everybody how much fun we're going to have. Music, a couple of drinks, giveaways, just celebrating with your friends and family with us. Again, Circle 6, the Watering Hole and Market, October 4th from 5:30 to 7. And you can buy those tickets on our website, TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Just click on the calendar of events. All right, it's 7:46. Welcome back. Jennifer Warmann-Bloss, my guest from Elemental Esthetics. We've talked about a lot of things. So if you're just tuning in, you missed the part of IPL, laser therapy, different things you can do for your face. Started to talk about insulin resistance, not only her personal journey, her daughter's as well. And many of you might be going through something like this. Again, don't just give up. I would ask for your physician to run these labs if they're not already, so you can get that kind of aha moment and have something done about it. You mentioned, Jennifer, controversial, which I wish people would stop saying that, because if you need assistance with this, and this is why I think it became so controversial, because people who have diabetes suddenly said they couldn't get the semaglutide, the Wegovy, the Ozempic, whatever else is out there, because people were wanting to use it for weight loss. So you and your daughter started using it? What did you use?
So that, honestly, in many ways, Ozempic was the first one that was out. And for both of us, that was miraculous as far as maintaining our insulin. And so this one's hard for me because I tried so hard in 1,000 ways to do it without the medication, and it's just
but you have an actual issue.
Disease, yes,
though.
I have a disease. Because there is the way that Ozempic and tirzepatide or Mounjaro or whatever you want to call them are controversial. It is really hard to get off of them. So if you are someone that is trying to just lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds or something, they will definitely work for you, but it is hard because if you don't make all the lifestyle changes that go along with that and you get off of it, your weight will come back, and that's frustrating to people. And so I would say if you have insulin resistance, if you are diabetic, these are amazing, amazing products. Mm-hmm. They're even now starting to look at them for cardiovascular disease and other issues. I can tell you I've had clients who were highly red and inflammatory in their skin, and they lose some weight using these medications, and they literally look different. Like, you can see the inflammation drop in their body, and I can see how that would help with cardiovascular disease as well. However, they also have some negatives. They do kind of reduce your muscle mass. So like they talk about Ozempic face, where people feel like their faces sink after using these medications, and that is from muscle loss. And it can happen in the body as well. So if you are using these either for weight loss or because you have a disease or disorder, you have got to do things you've got to eat more protein. You have got to work out where you're doing weight bearing exercise and building muscles to compensate for what the medication is doing.
And that's a big part of your consultation. And I think that is the really, if there's nothing else you take from today's show, that's the message you have to understand. It is not, oh, this is going to fix me. It's going to curb my appetite. It's going to be something that I only have to stay on for a little bit. No, that's not true. If they're on it, do they start to transition once they reach their goal weight, I guess, into a maintenance? And then can they ever get off of it?
So it just depends on the person. Like, I don't know if I'll ever personally, I have such a disorder with my insulin. I don't know if I'll personally ever fully get off of it. But I do a tiny, tiny little dose. We have a compounded, so you can buy them or you can get them through prescriptions if your numbers are bad.
Right.
Or you can get the weight loss versions. They are very expensive. You were just talking about that. We also offer compounded versions. I personally like the compounded version because I can do a little dose.
Okay. So what is the difference between the prescription grade that I saw when, like I said, Senator Bernie Sanders, this just came up yesterday. I'm like, oh, I'm going to bring this up with Jennifer. He was talking about anywhere from $800 to $900 to $1,200 a month.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They can't afford that.
No, I mean, and the compounded versions are a lot less.
A lot
expensive.
less.
Yeah.
So what is the difference?
So they add some more to the compound. They're legally able, as some compounding pharmacies, to make these compounds. It's actually a peptide.
Okay.
These are all peptides, and so they take that peptide and they usually add B6 or some other vitamin to it, and now it's a compounded, and they're less expensive. So,
but it's as effective though.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And that's what you have at your office?
We have both.
Or you have both?
Like,
okay.
if somebody qualifies for the
prescription,
they can sometimes get some discounts. But even that, it really has gone way up, even when you're covered.
Because of the fact that it's
so high in demand.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But we also do other things. So that's the other piece of it. Like, the reason I can do a smaller dose is that I'm doing things like, you can take berberine, and that works on insulin.
What's that?
It's just an herb. It's a root, and so that's berberine.
Okay.
It's just a supplement that you can find, and I take that, and I actually use a completely blanking out right now, but you're using berberine and doing a low dose of the compound, or the right.
Okay.
So by doing some other supplementation, I can reduce how much I'm taking.
Okay.
And
so the berberine, what does that do for you? Does that cut appetite?
It does not cut appetite. No. So the other one I use is a probiotic, and that's called Akkermansia, and bifidobacteria, and those two combined with berberine for some people will be enough.
I like that you said that, because again, just as we've mentioned on every medical show we've done, not everything works for everyone, and then nothing's cookie cutter in medicine.
Right.
So you've got to find what works for you. But you just mentioned from a probiotic standpoint, I mentioned at the beginning of the show how important gut health is. And when you're doing your consultation, you are, I'm sure, stressing to people how important it is. Okay, we're going to do this, but you have to learn to start eating more protein, hydrating more, working out. All of those things are going to be the beneficial side. Otherwise, here's what I've seen with people, that they go in, they get their shot, then they're going in maybe the next week, and they get on the scale, and they get so frustrated, even if it's only a half a pound, because, see, I hate that word, only.
Right.
But you lost a half a pound. That means you lost. You're moving in the right direction.
Right.
But they want this, just like everyone in life that wants to lose
Instant
weight.
gratification.
Oh, my gosh. We are in an instantaneous world. So talk about your consultation aspect, because where do you go of knowing whether you go into the medical side or it's non-medical?
So, and just to be clear, I'm not a nurse. So you would do your consultation with our nurse, Tabitha. She's phenomenal. She's a nurse practitioner. So she's going to look at everything, though, because it could be your hormones that are the reason you're not losing weight. It could be your insulin. It could just be lifestyle, and sometimes even she could even do like a liver detox and you start losing weight. So what's cool is she's going to look at all those different potential avenues, and there are multiple ways to help with this insulin resistance issue. So you could be medicated, you could choose not to be medicated. You can try not being medicated, and then if that doesn't work, you can move to being medicated. And you can get your weight down, and then like I said, like I definitely think that there's a lot of people that are on this side, like just dole out the medicine, have a nice day. And then there's all the people on this side that are like, oh my gosh, don't touch that. It's going to ruin your life. And you see people, you know, influencers and health specialists all over on both sides. And I think where we play is right in the middle. Like, we're like, there's a place for this and there's a place for this. And sometimes you just don't know until you talk to somebody and you try some things, and it might not be instant, and you know, it might take some time and effort, but you know, feeling better, reducing your inflammation, better mobility because you're physically feeling better. All of those things are really, really important to your life and your happiness, and not because you have to be skinny, but just like you feel
better.
good.
I was just going to ask you how your life, once you got this aha moment of, I'm insulin resistant, this exists for me, now I'm on a low dose, this is what I've chosen for my life, because I don't want to go back to sluggish feeling horrible about myself, not from aesthetic aspect. It's an aspect. It's how your quality of life is.
Well, and not only that, but when you're insulin resistant at the level that I was or my daughter was, you store every carb as fat that you eat, and you get no nutrients from it. So it's just sitting in a pile on your body being unuseful. And so that's why you feel tired and you don't feel good and you feel run down.
That's a good slide, right? You're eating the food, making insulin, cells resisting insulin, then the sugar stores as fat, and you feel tired, hungry, bloated. Why are you carrying so much weight around your midsection, which, by the way, is dangerous as it has the effect on the heart?
Right.
So we're talking about extra weight, not from, again, I stress this again, not from how Jennifer or anybody else was looking at themselves in the mirror. It is what is happening to my body. What's it doing to the heart? What kind of health is? Rose, I believe, wrote earlier, which was actually very funny. She said, bad carbs are Satan. They know my name. They call out to me when I pass a Quick Trip, the bad carb capital of Missouri. Slushes, donuts, junk food. Right, and you wonder, why do you have all those cravings? That's what's interesting. It's like I would go in and ask the doctor to do tests on you, because so many people say, I'm really making a conscious effort to try, Monica. I'm trying so hard. What is wrong with me?
So the other thing I'm going to advocate for, if you fight some of these things, is to try to eat as much of a organic whole food diet as you can. So as someone who's fought this internally, externally, like the secret is, if it comes in a package, maybe try not to eat it.
Exactly.
Like, even if it's health food in a package, like, I don't know, I inspirationally made chia pudding this week.
Love chia pudding.
It took like no time at all. It tastes like tapioca. I sweetened it with raw honey. Like, those whole foods, me eating those whole foods instead of maybe a bowl of cereal in the morning or something, that the toxin level in a bowl of cereal is horrifying.
Thank you for saying it. And I stress that to my husband, because he's like, Monica, I just like cereal. It goes
It's
back
delicious.
to like, he would eat it though right before he went to bed, which is another thing. I said the other day, and I think he heard one of our physicians say, 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed is the last time you should be eating. You have so much that the body is doing in repairing itself overnight while you're sleeping. And I know you're a big fan of Dr. Twyman, who we had in the other day, talking about circadian rhythm. He was saying 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. Are you getting all those things? There are true studies that have been done. If you are only sleeping 3, 4, 5 hours, how much damage you're doing and why you are gaining weight. All those things work hand in hand. You get better sleep, true sleep. You wake up. I'm a big fan of getting 8 ounces of water. The very first thing you do in the morning, drink water. It starts this habit of having more hydration, and then getting a good balanced meal. I personally like, and because people always ask me, well, what do you do? I've been in the fitness lifestyle my whole life, since I was 19. I you have to do, again, you mentioned it earlier, you do you. I don't do fasting, but because I live more of the lifestyle like a bodybuilder always lived, which is they're eating every few hours, but we're eating healthy and you're moving, right? That's the lifestyle. But if you're taking in all these calories and you're not exercising, and I mean even walking, well, it's that calorie deficit. Yes, there is a science behind all of this, but you have to find what works and then seek out people that can consult you, seek out people that can train you, seek out a dietitian. I'm sure you probably work hand in hand with a lot of people in our industry.
There's like so many little secrets. Like if you do indulge, let's just say for dinner, you do have more carbs, or poor Rose, the sugar's calling her, right? If you even just take a walk after,
yes,
it literally diminishes. I think the statistic is like 18% of the negative side effect of the food that you just ate. So if you have that dinner, it has some stuff in it maybe you shouldn't have had. If you just take a 15-minute walk, like it makes all the difference in the world. So these are like little ways that, like, these are pieces of advice we can give you. This is stuff that we can continue to talk about here for free, because like I want people to feel good.
Yes.
And we have a great resource in Tabitha at work for helping you with your own personal process on that. However, like there's so much to talk about that you and I can even just discuss as part of this. Like, even though it's not aesthetics, it's just part of what the world needs to hear.
Well, absolutely. And it all goes hand in hand, though. Whether it's inside or outside, it's feeling the best version of you, which you and I are doing together for them. And that's what we're here for. Every other Wednesday, Jennifer will be my guest. I would like to talk more about the aspect with Tabitha. I met her. We're talking about a hormonal aspect, which I'm always apprehensive of because of my background. A lot of you know that I had a massive blood clot, so I get scared. And then someone all of a sudden tells me something, like one of my past guests, and all of a sudden, boom, I stopped what I was doing. So I just had Tabitha sent me to go to Quest to go get my labs done to see where am I right now. And then she's going to take it over from there. My husband's going to be coming in to her as well. So we haven't talked really a lot about hormones. I will give you all of my personal side from my own testimony of what I'm going through, how they handle that. Let's put it up on the screen one more time as we wrap up. Elemental Esthetics. Again, 314-279-6069. They're located on 425 North New Ballas Road in that beautiful building. They're in Suite 206. You can go online and schedule your own appointment at elementalasthetics.com. Or again, I would call 314-279-6069. Thank you, my friend. I'm feeling today 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. That just seems right.
Okay.
So we're going to take our final break, and we will wrap up with that when we return.
Come on, Monica. Let's go, St. Louis. Turn and burn.
Hello, Miss Monica.
Monica. Hi, guys. This is a good one. Sometimes you spend like 10 years and you don't got one like this.
Hi, Monica.
It's a feast. It's like a 17-course meal. You just like, you need a minute. With wine. With a wine pairing. And a whiskey pairing.
That is what. Here it is.
I think I just have the most beautiful experience. I saw fireworks.
Thank you, Monica, for making our day.
All right, 8:02 as we wrap up. Again, a lot of you in the last half hour of what we've been talking about, if you're struggling with your weight or anything in life that's holding you back from being the best version of you, you might feel what this book is about, which is depression. These are books from Stephen Arterburn, 100 Days to Freedom, and this is day 26. Since the events in the garden where Adam and Eve disobeyed God, our world has felt broken. Each of us wrestles with all kinds of sin that comes from our hearts as we try to live life on our own terms. Without an intervention, we will continue to look to ourselves as the one who can make things better and bring healing if we just do the next thing. However, the only path to true healing is through Jesus Christ, if you believe. And if you don't, we're never trying to push anything on you. This is just maybe sprinkling something in that might help your heart and your soul a little bit. Healing, right? Healing is his specialty. Throughout the Bible, there are references to the physical healings of God. Let me give you examples. In Matthew 8, Jesus heals a man with leprosy. In Mark 1, Jesus cures Peter's mother-in-law. In John 9, Jesus heals a man who was born blind. Everyone walks around with wounds that cannot be seen, spiritual, emotional scars that can run deeper than any physical wound. But the God who has the power to heal physical wounds also heals those hidden wounds. Here are some biblical examples of those. In Psalm 23, David acknowledges that God heals and restores his soul. In Matthew 8, Jesus heals 2 demons. In John 14, Jesus senses and calms the disciples' worrisome thoughts. Again, things that you don't see on the outside. God's aware, can heal the wounds deep within us. To him, our emotional pain is just as valid as any physical pain. Remembering that our God is the great physician can fill us with hope as we wait on his timing. Our outlook becomes expectant. The one who holds our lives in his hand, the Lord who heals. Michael W. Smith said, healing rain is a real touch from God. It could be physical, healing, or emotional, or whatever. Pete Wilson said, time doesn't heal all wounds. God heals those. John Newton said, how sweet the name of Jesus sounds in a believer's ear. It soothes his sorrows, heals his wounds, and drives away his fear. So we give you a final prayer. Lord, help me to lean on you for the ultimate comfort, whether I'm healed in this life or the next. Help me to put full trust in you. Please give me full confidence in your grace. Amen to that. Right. As we mentioned, you never know what someone's going through, where the depression comes from. There's an aspect of life, never judge, never stereotype, never bully. Because one of the greatest things that we tell you that you can do, all of us can do, we can become better at, and every day educate yourself on another level of this. And that is kindness. And that is what we hope to spread with the show each and every day. We'll see you tomorrow morning, by the way, with the doggies, a full parade of the dogs that are available at Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue with positive talk time as we get ready for the big gala coming up on October 19th. A whole new world with you. We're going to be there. We're going to be emceeing and auctioneering, raising money for those dogs. It cost them $90,000 just this past year to take care of the dogs. When they bring one dog in, it's $500 just to do just the regular vaccinations and things that they need, do the spaying, the neutering. That's not saying that they have anything wrong with them, which many times they find out with these rescues. Yuppie Puppies Forever Gala, October 19th, Whitmore Country Club. Tickets on sale right now. Please get your tickets early as they are in the planning stages of this. 5:30 p.m. is when we'll all arrive. We've got the silent and the live auction. Can't wait to raise some big money for the incredible work that Jessica and her staff do. We're going to see the long-timers that have been there tomorrow. Can't wait to play with the dogs. Yuppie Puppies, Forever Rescue, and Positive Talk Time tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Thank you all so much, and remember, spread the love of kindness. God bless you.